The following podcast is presented by Blue Ridge Production.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unpacking the Occupation, where we help caregivers understand the why to their children's big emotions. I am your host, Trina Esperante, and today we are going to be talking about a major transition period, the 18-month milestone. This is such a fun stage to see unfold as a parent because this is where babies officially become toddlers. And with that comes a lot of new skills and some challenges. We are also going to be talking about bilingualism in the household, navigating two languages at the same time. Joining me today is a super mom who is navigating this stage right now with her 18-month-old son. Welcome to the show, Monse.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, today's show is going to be guided by key developmental milestones for his age based on the CDC's Learn the Signs, Act Early program. It's a great source and baseline for parents to see what most children are doing at 18 months. So, to start us off, Monse, tell us about your son. What are some things that you two love to do together, and what is he most obsessed with playing with right now?
Right now, he loves to color.
Oh,
Um, I got him those big sheets of coloring pages. He loves coloring. He
mhm.
loves to push and pull things, so
Oh,
especially pulling things. So we have a lot of the like toys with the wheels, the mini Target shopping cart.
those are
He loves
perfect.
anything physical. Yeah.
That's amazing. And honestly, those little shopping carts, and I'm sure he's already walking independently, correct?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Even with those little mini shopping carts, it still helps him with his balance and, making sure
Mhm.
like he has those spatial awareness when he's taking his steps. So that sounds really fun. And then what do you guys like to do together?
We love to spend time. I am very fortunate enough to have a really nice backyard right now.
That oh,
Um,
that's the
yeah, so
dream.
we love to just sit outside and eat snacks. Like it's so peaceful. I don't know what it is, but nature just kind of like resets everything.
Hey, I love being outside too. I live in an apartment right now, and so we have a
Uh-huh.
little patio, but we love to take our dogs on walks. And that's
Yes.
one of our favorite, activities to do as a family. So that's really
Yes.
amazing. I want to highlight something really cool that happens at 18 months, and this is called social referencing. You might notice that your toddler is, wandering away to explore a toy or a bug, but then they'll suddenly stop and look back at you to make sure that you're still there. In the OT world, we see this as them testing their safety net. They are basically building their confidence to be independent, but they still need to know their secure base is close by, which in this case is you, right? And it's a huge social, emotional milestone that shows that they are starting to navigate the world on their own. So I know you mentioned that you're raising your son in a bilingual home with both
Yes.
Spanish and English, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you were curious about how that impacts his speech development. Monse,
Yes.
when you think about his communication, what are some of the things you've noticed or wondered about? And is it how he's using his words or how he's trying to get his point across in both languages?
Yeah, so he's definitely a bit behind on his speech development.
Mhm.
He is not meeting the milestones that he should be meeting at 18 months. Actually, he's about to be 19 months, but
Mhm.
um, he's not saying a lot of words. He is
Yeah.
very expressive with his eyes. He does
Okay.
point a lot. He does point to things, pictures.
Mhm.
He does speak in a way where, like, I'll ask him how his day is doing, and he'll go,
Mhm.
"Hmm?" or
Yeah.
"Yeah." But he knows how to, like, conversations flow, but he doesn't participate them just yet, you
Yeah.
know?
And does he prefer one language over the other?
Yes, he's a bit more active, with Spanish.
The
He does
Spanish.
go to daycare.
Okay.
And there is a worker at daycare that speaks to him in Spanish, and she does notice he's a bit more, active when Spanish is spoken to him.
Yeah. Were you told that your son was, like, behind, like, speech-wise, or
Yeah, so, yeah, the last time I had, we took my son to his 18-month checkup.
Mhm.
They asked me the questionnaire, like, how many words does he say?
Yeah.
Right now he's only saying, like, besides mama, dada, he
Mhm.
says, like, ball, agua, he'll say water in Spanish.
Mhm.
Um, besides that, like, those 2 are his biggest ones.
Mhm.
He doesn't really have a phrase right now. I think that was the concern, was that he's not putting 2 words together.
Yeah.
So his pediatrician was a bit concerned, not too concerned considering he is hearing 2 languages,
Yeah.
but it's enough where, it did kind of put some, question marks, on
Yeah.
that, but, um, besides that, like, everything else, he's physically up to, like, he loves to jump and run and
Yeah.
do all that. He does everything else, but, the little language, he a little
Yeah,
push he
the
needs.
the the language one.
Yeah.
Let's just pause here for a minute because hearing that your little one is hitting a delay is tough and, it can be really hard to hear, but I love how your pediatrician is being so proactive. Because in OT school, we aren't able to diagnose, right? We are only there to support. And as a future OT, this is a perfect time, I see this as a perfect time to jump in with support. So even though he's working a bit harder to build those 2 language libraries right now, his brain is actually doing some amazing rewiring. It's important to know that bilingualism does not concern a speech delay. So
Mhm,
think of his brain, right? It's building 2
mhm,
different libraries at the same time. This is where we talk about neuroplasticity. And simply put, right, neuroplasticity
mhm,
is the brain's way of or the brain's ability to change, grow, and rewire itself based on new
mhm,
experiences. So think of it like a hiking trail in the woods, right? The first time you walk in a new path, it's a bit overgrown and hard to find, but the more
mhm,
you walk it, or in your son's case, the more he hears words in Spanish or in English, the clearer and faster the path becomes. So,
mhm,
because his brain is so young and flexible, it's literally being shaped by every word he hears. Sometimes a bilingual
uh-huh,
child might have fewer words in one language compared to a monolingual peer, but when you add their Spanish words and English words together, they are usually right on track. So his brain is
mhm,
becoming more flexible and better at problem solving because it's navigating 2 systems at once. Um,
yes.
and he's essentially giving his brain a super workout every single day. So I know it could be concerning, right? Um,
Mhm,
and there's this technique that I learned when I was in field work, and that's called the echo technique. So
uh-huh,
basically, when your son is asking, like, oh, cup, like, or pointing to a cup, because I know you said that he likes to point, right?
yeah.
You would echo and say, cup. You want the cup or you want the blue cup?
Mhm. Yes, we definitely do the echoing. He right now he's obsessed with, like, Oreos, and he knows where we put the Oreos at.
Yeah.
And so every time he kinda goes over points, we do say, "Oreo, do you want the Oreo? The
Hmm.
cookie? The cookie?" And sometimes he does say, he'll say cookie, cookie, but not
Yes.
often enough where, like, it's a daily word, but,
Yeah.
yeah, we do like to do the echoing.
Yeah, and it takes time, they follow this path of, like, development,
Mhm,
and just by continuing this strategy and, like, talking in, like, normal language around your son can
mhm,
help his development too. Talk like
yeah,
normal, like how you would have a conversation, and that's how they continue to pick up these words.
yeah,
And going back to the whole neuroplasticity, their minds right now are at the perfect age where they are just absorbing everything and, like they're
mhm.
little sponges.
Yes, yeah, definitely, we've always known, like, not to speak and babble like that,
Yeah.
so we always try to just, maintain the same, tone of voice and everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, especially me, I like to talk a lot, so my son definitely hears me talk every day.
That's so good, that's so good. And I mean and also just, like, playing music, and,
Yeah, oh, he
him
loves music.
he does that's amazing! Do you
Yeah.
guys watch Miss Rachel or Danny Go or any of them in your household?
Yeah, we watch, it's another YouTuber, she's like Miss
Mhm.
Isa, she's like a Spanish Miss Rachel,
Oh, that's
like, she speaks
perfect.
Spanish, yeah, and she's fantastic, she loves him, like, he loves her, like, I cannot play enough of her for him, I guess.
That's perfect. I've
Yeah.
met children where they, are still finding those words, right, at 18
Mhm,
months, and then they
mhm.
find them at, like, 2 years, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
mean, they're behind or anything, it's just, they're a little they pave their own path, right? Do you take him out to the park, or does he have cousins, or, I know you said you're
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
base, right? Does he, like to play with, his friends outside of daycare?
Yeah. So we usually like, if anything, we'll take him out to the park, but his social exposure is really daycare.
Yeah.
He loves whenever I pick him up, he's always playing. He's such a kind kid, like, it honestly surprises
Aw.
me. But I think honestly, like, his daycare is really his main source of, like, social.
Yeah. And, having him around and are the kids relatively, like, the same age?
Yeah, so he is in the toddler, room, so it's from 18 months is the youngest
Mhm.
to, I think, 2.5 or
Okay.
3, yeah.
Okay, that's really great to hear because having him around, like, the same age or just, other
Mhm.
kids in general is really good for his speech development too, because he's hearing, like, the other kids talk or, the teachers
Yeah.
talk and just, like, that constant conversation, right?
Yes.
So, within time, Monse, he'll he'll start developing those words. I don't want you to worry.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just, like, I think sometimes as mothers, you just naturally, like,
Have that worry.
compare,
Yeah.
"Oh, like, this one is already saying words, but my
Yeah.
little one is still not." But, you just have to remind yourself, like, it's fine, like, as long as they're hitting, like, some milestones and they're
Mhm.
trying their best, like,
Yeah.
I can understand what he's saying with him, like, pointing or looking at me, and
Yeah.
so I try to remind myself of that.
That's really good, and, at the end of the day and to quote Bluey, I don't know if you watch Bluey.
I love Bluey.
Honestly, I think that show is for parents more than the
For
kids.
parents, yes, it
To
is.
to quote Bluey, right? You
Mhm.
they have to run their own race, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And every baby is, they develop and they grow differently, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that your child is, not gonna speak. He is going to speak. He will just get there on his own time.
Yes.
So, but being a bilingual is such a like an amazing skill, and I'm
Mhm.
glad that he's growing up in a bilingual household because he gets these
Yes.
2 languages. And like I said, the pathways in his brains are just, doubling in size because he's,
Yeah.
trying to understand 2 languages at the same time. And by the time you know it, he's gonna be, like, interchanging English and Spanish, something that I can't
Yes.
even do, like so, good for you guys.
We're trying our best over
Y
here.
you are doing amazing. Always tell yourself that you are doing
Aw.
amazing for him. Yeah. So, along with speech, you
Mhm.
mentioned wanting to learn more about emotional regulation, correct?
Yes.
And 18 months is where those first big emotions start to appear.
Mhm.
When your son gets frustrated, and maybe it's because he can't find the right word or wants to do something all by himself,
Uh-huh.
how does he usually show that emotion and what do you typically do to help him through it?
I think he shows his big emotions like a typical 18-month-old. He'll throw himself on the floor.
Mhm.
He just starts crying and usually like when I wanna say it happens pretty often nowadays, but I think it's developmentally okay. I know that this age is kind of hard.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but I know that what I my approach to this is I usually, like, I let him feel it. I don't
Mhm.
really, like, talk him through it. I wanna say I kinda wait for
Yeah.
him to calm down, and then I'm like, "Okay, let's let's get back on track, like, what do we
Yeah.
need right now?" I don't know, this is my approach because I don't know if I'm doing it correctly, but
Mhm.
I kinda just wait for him to go through the emotion. I don't
Mhm.
really talk him through it, I just kinda sit there, I'm near him when it happens,
Yeah.
and then I sit down with him, and then once he's done, I'm like, "Okay, like, what's next? What do we need to do
Yeah.
now?"
That is amazing. That is what we call
Uh-huh.
co-regulation, Monse. And
Oh, okay.
basically what that is that when, your child is having,
Mhm,
these big emotions, and I've talked about this to my other guests as well.
mhm.
It's really important for the parent to kind of stay grounded and to stay calm, because our kids,
Yeah,
if they see us flustered, right? I like to say they borrow
yeah.
our calm or they borrow our emotions. So if you see
Oh,
that you are, if they see that we are getting frustrated, right, they're gonna be even more frustrated. But the
yeah.
fact that you said first, the fact that you are aware that this is a developmental process is
Uh-huh.
amazing. That's great because it really is part of their development to have them go through these big
Mhm,
emotions and these big tantrums, right? And then the
uh-huh.
second one is realizing, the best thing you could do for your child is to be there, but not to interject when they're having these
Yeah,
big moments. And I really truly appreciate, how you kind of let him pass through these emotions before you step
uh-huh.
in, but you kind of let him know, like, "Hey, mommy's here whenever you're ready to get back up and, to get doing things again." Um,
Yeah,
and and at like I said, at this age, it's expected to have these big emotions, right?
yeah.
And in OT school, they teach us about theories, models, and frames of reference. And
Uh-huh,
basically what that is that it's a guide for occupational therapists to use to help us understand the why behind how people participate in their daily lives and how
uh-huh,
we can best support their independence in the things that they want to do or need to do.
uh-huh.
For our conversation, we can look at this through an OT model called occupational adaptation, right?
Okay.
It basically says that your son has this huge internal drive to master the world, right? He wants
Uh-huh,
to speak, he wants to climb, he wants to pull, right? He wants to
uh-huh.
be independent, but sometimes he hits a wall. Like when he's trying to navigate two languages at once or when he's trying to, master some activity, right? And
Yeah,
that frustration or tantrum, like I said, is actually his brain trying to adapt to a challenge that he doesn't have
uh-huh,
the skills for it yet. But our job as OTs and parents, right, is to
uh-huh.
help him move from that frustrated adaptation to a successful one. So when, you see him getting frustrated, right,
Uh-huh.
is there a specific activity that he's getting frustrated in or that you see him kind of have a hard time with?
Yeah, typically, it's not necessarily an activity he kinda gets frustrated with, he's in this big, habit of opening the doors. He
Okay.
doesn't like to see closed doors,
Oh.
so we had to put, like, certain child lock on the doors,
Mhm.
and, he just gets really frustrated when it comes to that. He wants to be able to open things.
Yeah.
But when we tell him, like, "No, you can't open that," that's when usually he'll have that little moment of, craziness, and
Yeah.
then he'll move on. But that's
Yeah.
like, he wants to be able to open. He doesn't being told, but again, like, I
No.
get it, he's a kid.
Like, yeah.
But
Isn't like
but
being
yeah.
yeah. I completely understand that. One thing that you can do, and I don't know
Uh-huh.
if, you are already doing this, right? You can have
Mhm.
like a designated drawer where you can fill it up
Oh,
with
okay.
toys or you can fill it up with Tupperware because I don't know what it is with kids and Tupperware, right?
Yeah.
Or like the random objects that are safe, and that could
Uh-huh.
be his drawer to open. So
Oh.
when he is getting frustrated, wanting to open the door, wanting to open the refrigerator or,
Yeah.
whatever it could be, you can just point like, "Hey, let's go see what's in your drawer," and have him pull out, everything. Have him make
Yeah.
a mess, right?
Yeah.
That's his time to explore and to kind of discover, new things and for him to like think like, "Okay, I have a specific area, like that's mine." Like then he knows having that drawer can, he'll know in his brain, like, I can go
Yeah.
there instead of opening other doors or opening up the fridge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's probably something you can try at home if you're
Yeah.
open to it.
No, that sounds like a good idea. He just
Yeah.
loves opening doors,
Everything.
everything, and I go,
Yes.
"No, no, no, get away." And he's like, "Ah."
Yeah. Yeah, at this stage, kids are super curious, and
Yes.
their curiosity is they're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And they're gonna want to, try to do everything that they can to, explore
Yeah.
and like I said, it's part of their development. This is their path of being independent and they have to go through this process in order
Mhm.
to get there, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I kind of want to shift gears. I want to talk about the work of his
Okay.
day, his play and his routines.
Okay.
So at this stage, kids often start copying chores like sweeping or helping in the kitchen.
Mhm.
Does your son try to help you with things around the house? And what does that typically look like?
Yes, he has, it's like a little play set. It's like the
Hmm.
mini broom, the mini mop. He loves to pretend like he's sweeping just like me.
Oh,
And,
cute.
every time he sees me sweeping, he likes to either grab my broom or he'll grab his toy broom, but he does like to copy, like, me sweeping, mopping, um, and usually when I do vacuum, he likes to try to push the vacuum too.
Oh my gosh, that is so
It's so
adorable.
funny.
I missed I missed those that age. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Um and that's really amazing to hear because so there are different types of play, right, that kids go
Uh-huh,
through. And this play is what we call imitative play. So they imitate,
uh-huh.
mom or they imitate dad, right? And it's actually a
Yeah,
huge developmental win. So when he tries to sweep or, or vacuum or, help in the kitchen, right? He's just not
yeah.
playing, he's practicing motor planning. And what that
Oh.
is, yeah, it's him figuring out how to move his body. Um,
Oh, it's
it's
so cute.
yes, it is super, super cute, and it's amazing to see, and and it also helps him practice his social participation. He's learning that he is a valuable member of the family, so
Mhm.
and even if it takes longer, letting him help is building his confidence and his sense of belonging. So
Oh.
he knows he's like, okay, like I'm helping mommy, I'm helping daddy. Like this is what I do. I'm gonna help them out by any means, right?
Yeah.
And and so, how is he doing with things like drinking from a cup or trying to use a spoon? Those big self care milestones that can sometimes be a source of frustration or a source of pride for a toddler.
Yeah, so he's, been doing great with that, my son, he's been going to daycare, since he was 4 months old.
Hmm.
So, I wanna credit a lot to daycare because
Hmm.
they really, helped in that source of development where he can drink from a cup. The fork he's getting there, like, he can sometimes pick it up and
Yeah.
eat from it, but, sometimes he struggles a little bit from it, but, yeah, he's doing really well with that kind of development.
Yeah. Spearing is so we call it spearing in the OT world where they go down
Uh-huh.
and like they poke the plate or they poke the
Yeah,
food, right?
yeah,
And that's a little bit more challenging skill. But the fact that he's using a spoon is really good.
yeah.
Um Self-feeding is about so much more than just getting food into his mouth. It's a major sensory
Mhm.
experience. So, When he
Yeah.
plays with his food or tries to use a spoon, he is actually learning about textures and temperature and how to coordinate his hands um,
Yeah.
and eyes. In OT, we see this as the first step towards independence. So it's his way of saying, I can take care of myself, or
Yeah.
which is a massive boost for his self-esteem.
Yeah.
Um, and finally, Monse, you mentioned wanting to stay calm during those hard moments. When a
Mhm.
meltdown happens, right? What is the thought that usually makes it hardest for you to stay regulated yourself?
It kind of depends. So,
Hmm.
it really depends on the day. Me and my husband, we're dual military, but
Oh, okay.
right now we're separated by base. So he's in another base, and I'm physically by myself most of the time taking care of my
Hmm.
son. So, I will say sometimes it just really depends on the day. Um 'Cause some days we have great days, and then the other days it's like I've had a long day at work, and we get home a little tired. But I wanna say, like, sometimes my patience, it can be very short or very long, and honestly, it just really just depends on, like, what I've done for the day, and, yeah, like, I don't have sometimes my triggers, I do have triggers where if he pulls on my hair, for some
Mm,
reason, that really bothers me.
yeah.
But I always try to tell myself, like, he doesn't know that. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
sitting here telling him, like, hey, when you pull my hair, it kind of, triggers me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
I
have
mean,
to kind of tell myself that.
yeah. And then you can also tell him too, not in the
hmm
way that is like, don't do that. You can tell him,
Yeah.
hey, this hurts mommy. Let's not pull mommy's hair, or give him an
Yes.
alternative, something that he can pull, right?
Yes.
Like one of
Yeah.
his shopping carts or one of his other toys. And
Yeah.
going back to, when he's having a meltdown, right?
hmm
You mentioned that that you kind of just step away and let him be, right? This is another,
Yeah.
something that you can use in like these moments, right? That co-regulation piece,
hmm
because our brains, they have these amazing things called mirror neurons. And
hmm
basically, your son's brain is mirroring yours, like I had mentioned, right? It's
Yeah.
If your internal volume goes up, his will too. But if you
Yeah.
find that pause and stay calm, his brain will eventually borrow your calm, like I had mentioned,
Uh-huh.
and just reset itself. So you're literally acting as his external nervous system until his own is strong enough to handle those big emotions. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, all moms, all parents get frustrated too. Like I have my son who likes to cling on me 24/7, and it's like
Yeah.
sometimes the best thing that you can do is just, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, let it happen, write it out, and then, speak to him about it when he is, not on you or not pulling your hair.
Yeah.
And this is also working on his, receptive language too, because he's letting you hear, what is it? He's hearing what you're saying too, and he's, taking it in, he's trying to understand and process it. So, Monse, before the end of each episode, I love
Yeah.
sharing an OT tip of the day to my parents that you could possibly use at home with your little one.
Uh-huh.
And today's tip is narrating the day. And even if your child isn't, talking back yet or having, more than like a couple of words, right? Talk to
Uh-huh.
them like you're a sportscaster, right? So, for example, you could say, I am putting your socks. Now we are walking to the door. Now we're going
Uh-huh.
to the restroom, right? Have that be a constant, like a daily thing, right? And
Uh-huh.
this constant stream of language in either Spanish or English builds their receptive language, which is the foundation for them eventually speaking in their own words.
Uh-huh.
So that's something that you can do at home if you're not doing already. Just narrating every single thing. And
Yeah.
I know it can sound silly, but at the end of the day, it really does help. Well, thank you so much, Monse, for joining us today and sharing your story. Raising a bilingual child is a beautiful and rewarding gift, and it sounds like you are doing an amazing job navigating these early toddler years.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. If you guys found this episode helpful, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast wherever you listen from. This helps other caregivers find us, and you can also find more information about my capstone project, podcast updates, and resources on my Instagram, OT with Trina. Join me in the next episode to unpack the why behind the what. Mahalo!